podcast talk show.
Good evening, Redding, California, and surrounding vicinities. This is Myra Monarch with Tvfurstar, and today we have a very special guest. His name is Tino Alba. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what he does. Tino, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Myra? Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Talk to us a little bit about your profession and how you help people.
Yeah, so I am a real estate agent. I work for the Wallen team at Waterman Real Estate. I've been in real estate for just under 3 years now, and I help people, buy, sell properties, invest, and also, just help them out in the world of real estate. I know it's an ever changing world, and I'm just here to help people understand and educate them.
Wonderful. So, what are the first steps one should take if you're contemplating venturing into the purchase of a property or becoming a homeowner for the first time, say?
Yeah, so the first step in purchasing a home is really figuring out your finances. So it really starts out with like talking with a lender. If you don't know anybody to talk to, then you can always refer to an agent such as myself. And we work with a group of lenders, and we get you pointed in the right direction. When you're speaking with a lender, that's when they check your credit score, they check your income, taxes, things like that. And just because you talk to a lender doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be absolutely ready. The purpose of talking to a lender is to come up with a game plan for you, so that way you can be ready to purchase a home in 3 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years. It doesn't really matter how long. The point is just to come up with a game plan for you guys.
That's great. So you don't necessarily have to have perfect credit to come in and just even ask you a question.
hmm
That's wonderful. What areas do you cover?
So I'm based out of Reading, but I go just about an hour, from Reading, north, south, east, west. I go all the way up to like Wairika, Willows, Weaverville, and even Fall River Mills. But I'm licensed in California, so if somebody needs me to go somewhere else, then I'll be willing to do that.
What can you tell us about all those people who think that it may not even be worth looking into real estate now because the cost of real estate is so high and
hmm
so is the interest rate?
So to start off, I'm a big believer that you never should pressure somebody to purchase a home. That really comes down to you and your family, just figuring out what is the best situation for yourself. But for those that are ready to purchase, but they're on the fence on whether they should move forward or whether they should wait for interest rates to drop or maybe the prices to drop. Uh, I went ahead and read some data from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Zillow, NAR, and all these top agencies that that study the market, and they give us their prediction of what the market's going to do. And from the most recent reports, they're stating that inventory is going to start to increase. Interest rates are predicted to drop, and prices are predicted to continue to increase.
Wonderful. So what would happen then um, when the interest rate goes down? Because I've heard that it would create a lot more
Mhm.
demand and competition. Would that be the case? Can you give us an example?
So in my opinion, I do think that it may create some competition, and the biggest factor into that is because I talk to a lot of people, daily, figuring out what they want to do and kind of what their game plan is. And the most common conversation I have is that a lot of people are waiting for interest rates to drop. So in my opinion, I believe that when interest rates do drop, everybody that's been sitting on the sidelines is going to want to jump in the market. Inventory is low; it is starting to increase, but the fact of the matter is that there's just not enough inventory for the demand that we have in our market. So, in my opinion, if you're able to buy and you're able to maybe muscle out those monthly payments for like a year or two, then I think you're going to get a lot better return on your investment, because prices are going to continue to increase. So that's going to help you gain equity. But if you wait until interest rates to drop, then you may end up paying more for the same house that is worth today. Good example of that is I had a client who purchased a home around 350,000 of August of 2023. Due to some unfortunate circumstances, they have to sell their property now, and they were able to put it back on the market in May, and we're already in escrow for about 380,000. So it's a really good example of what the market has been doing in a year. It has jumped. We were able to increase the price in about $30,000 in
Wow.
just under a year.
Wow, that's amazing. So if somebody's renting now, say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for $2,000 a month,
Hmm.
and they go ahead and purchase now, there's a possibility that they actually might acquire a little more equity or see
Hmm.
the property value increase some.
Yeah, they may pay more for the mortgage payment, but depending on your tax circumstances, there's a good chance that you can talk to your CPA and you may be able to write off like your interest. And I would just talk to your CPA a little bit more about that, but it is something that people do. Writing off your interest is something you're able to do.
I know there are a lot of variations, but can you give us an example of if I'm renting a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, paying $2,000 a month, and it's just a modest home versus purchasing, what would the monthly difference be? Is it too significant?
It really comes down to like your taxes and your credit score. That's a fairly broad question, just because everyone's circumstances is so different, and depending on maybe if you're doing a big down payment or maybe you're looking for 0% down financing, could vary, your mortgage payment. But you're looking anywhere between maybe 2,000 to 2,600 for your monthly payment, maybe under 300,000 or 325,000 under. But again, everyone's situation is different.
That makes sense. Thank you. Um, we're so glad that you're here with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
So before getting into real estate, I was actually a firefighter for about 6 years. So I know what hard work is. I know that it's really important to make sure that you have everything, that you have all your ducks in a row. I come from a very hardworking family, and I think that just rolls into real estate. So if you're looking for somebody who's going to bat for you and is going to care about your finances, is going to be more worried about creating a relationship with you versus a transaction, then I'm your guy to call.
That's wonderful. You've given us a lot of hope that there is still a possibility
Hmm.
to achieve the American dream, even in these high interest, in this high interest market that we're in. So, and I think that things will get better eventually. And I'm so glad
Hmm.
that you're here to help us. How can we reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to my personal cell phone number. That's 530-524-8217. You can also reach out to my email is tino@wallenteam.com. And you can also go on my website, which is tino.search530.com.
Wonderful. Well, Tino, thank you again for being with us today. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to him directly. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we will see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Podcast Talk